The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail.
Hey, everybody, I'm Dr. Pat.
And this is Autumn Seibel.
Why are we here together, me and Autumn and Benny? We're going to have some fun. Manifesting by the moon. Autumn is joining me here today for a lot of reasons. But most importantly, I got to tell you guys that you got to get your manifesting mojo on. Got to get it on. You know, it can't be about the news. It can't be about this, can't be about that, but it could be about the moon. Why do I love the moon? Always love the moon, just all about the moon. But wait a minute. Why does the full moon get all of the love? Today, Autumn is joining me. We got a lot to talk about. I wanted you to hear her amazing vibration, certified health coach, and a medium who holds a master's in secondary education. But more than that, she is on a mission. She is out there talking about what she was meant to do in this world, golden otter divinations. And why is her message about that? Why is it that Autumn wakes up and says, I am here to help others manifest their dreams? And how are we going to do that? Let's connect perhaps to the loved ones in spirit. Let's connect to that part of us which we cannot see, but we know is there. Why don't we look at the laws of abundance and own them, live them, be them? And she helps us get that on. Today, what Autumn is doing beyond her fabulous, like super fabulous show, we are talking about the moon and co-creating and what that means. Autumn, great to have you.
Thanks so much for having me, Dr. Pat. And hey, Benny.
Hello, ladies.
Benny. Benny's manifesting a vacation.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's manifested
In the near
a
future,
vacation.
yes, a few weeks away. But yes, it's there.
I know, but it's a few weeks is very quickly. But you've
be.
manifested it because you planned it and you're going.
I did, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Benny's a big manifester. Did you know that?
Are you, Benny?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any recent?
Any recent ones? Oh man,
Yeah.
I think I think Pat was right. I think she hit it on the nail on the head as far as the vacation's kind of expected and needed, and I did it.
Nice.
Yeah.
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 Sometimes manifesting can seem like such a woo-woo weird thing, but really we're manifesting every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Like whether you get a parking spot or don't get a parking spot,
That's
you kind of manifest that. Like everywhere I just expect to get parking spots, and I live in DC, and like, you know, there's either you have to pay for parking, it's cramped parking. But when we first got here, I just started setting the intention that I would get parking spots. And now when I show up somewhere and I don't have a spot, I'm like, oh, that's so weird. I had imagined my spot would be here, and I might pull around the corner and come back and somebody's pulling out, oh, there's my spot. But you don't question it. You just start believing that it'll be there, and then it shows up. And that's the thing about manifesting that I think gets a little bit overlooked, that we're always manifesting. Every second of every day, we're creating this reality. And whatever we put into the vortex or the field comes back to us. So if you put in good, you get good back. If you put in stress and worry, you get stress and worry back.
Yeah. I love that. I've known Benny 15 years. So I'm going to tell you, here's the thing. Benny and I have been written about in books, but Benny mostly because he's a master manifester. Listen, when we first met, Benny and I, here we are starting this little gig. Benny manifested himself a full-time job with benefits. Then he manifested me, of course. Then, on the way, he manifested a motorcycle. He manifested a house. He manifested, what do you call that? Renovating a house. And then...
Which is still being renovated.
Oh, that's okay. That's all
I'm
right.
still
Because
manifesting that
it's
one.
still being it's still being renovated because
Yeah.
in the meantime, he manifested a family with some babies.
There you go. It happens.
Oh, those are
Yeah.
the best manifestations.
They
Yeah.
are. They are.
So I mean, no, I'm not really looking for the baby part. So that part not there. But this is what you're talking about today, right? You're going to
Yeah.
give us some tips. But how do we play with the moon? I love the moon.
Yeah.
I love it.
So the whole concept of manifesting by the moon is when I kind of got into the law of attraction and really started putting it into play in my own life. I would kind of lose track of things. Like I'd make a vision board, but I wouldn't necessarily tend to it, or I'd plant a seed of intention, but I wouldn't necessarily consciously make sure that it came into fruition, or kind of pruned it away to say, oh, that no longer resonates with the life I'm trying to live. And I started connecting with the moon really naturally, cyclically as a female. Started tracking my personal cycle and noticed it synced up with the moon. And then for me, that was a really grounding thing. You would think looking to the cosmos would bring you even higher, but for me, it actually was really grounding because it made me conscious that I'm stardust, just like everything in this universe, and that I'm part of something much bigger. And for some reason, that took a lot of pressure off. And it was like, wow, why would I think that I have all the power in the world to create whatever it is I want? Well, I'm part of this amazing orchestra. So of course I have the power, the ability. And then what I really love about tracking the moon is that I'm an educator by nature and I'm a planner by nature. And I like seeing results and backwards planning. And so the moon is reliable. It's always going to be in the sky. It's been there for millennia, and it will hopefully be there for millennia. And tracking its 8 phases it really helps with setting intentions, monitoring intentions, harvesting, and then either enjoying the fruits of your manifestations or letting things go in a really easy way that totally takes the pressure off because Mother Nature does the work for you.
I love this. So before we go really get high impact right here, many people think there are 2 phases of the moon. We see the full moon and then we see the little crescent moon, but there are more than 2. Tell us what the 8 phases are of the moon, and then what purpose do they serve? Because people think, oh, that's a full moon. Okay, that's the other one. But no.
Yeah. So there's the 2 big ones that most people in manifesting are aware of are the new moon and the full moon. So the full moon gets the majority of the attention because it's what we can see in the sky. But the new moon is actually the beginning of the lunar cycle. So the full moon comes halfway through. And a lunar cycle is between 28 to 32 days. And the moon will move through 8 phases in those 32 days and then start over, almost like a calendar month, except the new moons and the full moons don't sync up on the Gregorian calendar, meaning, January 1st, there's not a new moon, and January 14th, full moon. It cycles rhythmically, so you track those as they go. So we start with the new moon, which is not visible to the naked eye. And then we go crescent moon, first quarter moon, the gibbous moon, full moon, disseminating moon, third quarter moon, and balsamic moon. Sometimes in the building phases, those are called waning, waxing moons because they're building. And then on the other side, they're waning. So the moon goes from no light to full light, back down to no light. And the best way to familiarize yourself with the phases of the moon is to download an app if you have access to that, or go to NASA. They've got great resources, and or just go out at night and just look up, and for 30 days, just see what you see and maybe make note in your calendar. And that's the best way to organically start connecting with the moon. You can look on an app and see what phase we're in. So right now we're actually entering a balsamic moon, the waxing crescent. So we're almost to a new moon, which is coming on Saturday, August 11th. It's also a solar eclipse. I know that's a lot, but those are just tips for identifying the moon phases. That's just where you start, identifying the moon phase. And then you can get into working with the energy of the moon. So,
well, this is really important because we think manifesting is sort of black and white. Like we think, I don't have something, I desire it, and then, okay, there it is. But there are also energies that go in to the manifestation process, just like the energies you just described in the phases of the moon. What have you learned about the energies, or I don't know, maybe they're phases of manifestation?
Yeah, so you know what I love about working with the moon? It's taught me a lot of patience. So it's just like if you, plant a crop, it's not going to grow overnight. You know that if you plant a row of corn, tomorrow you're not going to have, something to eat, but you know that you've planted the seed and you have faith that it's coming. You water it, you make sure it gets sun, you pull the weeds, and you know that your actions are going to bring that fruit or that vegetable to fruition so that you can enjoy it. And when you work with the moon has yin and yang energies. I like to say yin is the human being and the yang is the human doing. So during the yin phases of the moon, you're resting, you're reflecting, you're restoring, you're going inward. And then in the yang, it's more outward. So the human doing phase. And in modern society, sometimes it feels like, especially in this digital age, we always have to be on, we always have to be going, we always have to be connected. And that's just not the way that the human life cycle is. That's out of sync with our human bodies, our human cycles, and the way of spirit. It's not always doing. Sometimes it's just being. And that's what I like about the phases of the moon. They alternate. So you'll have a yang energy at the new moon, a yin at the crescent, a yang at the first quarter, a yin at the gibbous, a yang at the full, a yin at the disseminating moon, a yang at the third quarter, and then a yin at the balsamic. And then it comes back around again to the new moon. So every couple of days you get to monitor your energy in the inflow with the moon. And the more you're aware of it, the more it's less you doing the work and the universe doing it. Like you set the intention, you monitor it, and then the universe, because you're paying attention, you're saying, I'm a conscious co-creator. I'm not the creator, I'm a co-creator.
Yeah.
So I'm doing my part, and it's like a process of allowing the universe to do its part.
I love this. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the new moon.
Yeah.
The new moon. What does that mean, new moon? And how does it get to be new every month? What? It gets to be new every month? Wouldn't we love to do that? Well, guess what? Yeah, when we come back, get ready for autumn. Manifesting by the moon. Get ready to write this stuff down, get ready to think about it, and more importantly, let's get it done, everybody. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
Do you know how to achieve wellness in all areas of your life? Hi, I'm Mary Jane Mack. Signs of wellness are a capacity to love and ability to nurture, a sense of purpose, a good sense of humor and plenty of fun in your life, a concern for others and a respect for the environment, a conscious commitment to personal excellence, a sense of balance and integrated lifestyle, and capacity to cope with whatever life presents. Well people enjoy their lives and want them to last as long as possible. That's why the wellness mindset usually accompanies other constructive, healthy lifestyle habits. By adopting a wellness mindset and behaviors like eating well, taking the right nutrition for the body, exercising, and saying affirmations are just a few things to structure a healthy system of values and beliefs. Call us at 888-777-4232. That's 888-777-4232. And visit us at maryjanemack.com.
A space of allowing radio with Coach Nancy Coco, welcoming all that wants to be present today. Tune in Thursdays every first and third week at 9 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com as Coach Nancy helps you find a space of allowing. Join Coach Nancy to explore what lives at your edges and to bring more of yourself home. For more information, visit NancyCocoCoaching.com.
Learn about the heart and soul of justice. In Law and Disorder Radio, Megan Lyons will be raising the universal consciousness by empowering listeners with their own inner strength. Megan will show you how to find true healing and inner peace through the art and practice of self-love. From victim to victor. Tune in every first and third Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern on Transformation Talk Radio. For more information about Megan Lyons, visit her website, enterthelightllc.com.
On the cutting edge of the new mainstream, Christine Upchurch is passionate about bringing together science, psychology, and spirituality in a way that can be applied to our everyday lives for true transformation. The Christine Upchurch Show, stellar conversations to illuminate your journey, engages some of the most outstanding visionaries on the planet in lively dialogue to inspire you to become that bright light you're meant to be. Join Christine every Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific Time on KKNW, AM 1150, and Transformation Talk Radio.
Did you know that all of the shows on the Transformation Radio Network are available as podcasts to stream or download?
Really?
Check us out. Go to transformationradio.fm. We have business shows, spiritual shows, energy healing shows, and pretty much everything in between. Something for everyone, guaranteed to inspire, educate, and transform. We are transforming the world, one listener at a time.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Guess who's in the house? Autumn, before we jump ahead, like leapfrog ahead, actually, I had a little frog jump on my cart this weekend when I was doing community service, a little frog. You're going to tell me about that. Before we jump ahead, how can people find out more about you? How can they find out about your radio show? How can they find out about the work you're doing? All of the above. How can they find out what your favorite recipe is? I don't know.
For the everyday, staying abreast of what's going on, Instagram is probably the best. That's where I'm the most active, and it's Golden Otter Divinations. So golden like the precious animal, golden like the precious metal, otter like the precious animal, and then divinations, Divinations. And then for monthly bi-monthly new and full moon rituals, my website is the place to go. I post about them on Instagram, but to actually get access to them, they're on my website, and it's goldenotter.us. And actually, speaking of that, Dr. Pat, I think I'm going to do something a little bit wild, and I'm actually going to open my memberships up for the rest of the year, and come one, come all, I'm waiving all in honor of my beloved grandmother-in-law who just passed. She was a very generous woman, and I'm going to waive all membership fees for the rest of 2018. So if you are at all interested in getting into the intention setting flow, this is her gift to all of you. So go to the website, click on members, disregard the pricing, and join.
What does that mean, disregard? Just ignore it?
Yeah, just ignore. I'll go in and I'll void out all transactions, so there won't be any fees. So it is a free resource for the rest of 2018 in memory of Peg Burns.
Wow, wow, thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
You know, part of our journey here has been from day one to pay it forward. I mean, from the very beginning, I would never have any of the guests come on without giving a book or something away to people. And what you just did is supported that and the energy of that. And I think that's super important to do. Yeah. You know, part of it too is understanding how these energies work. And it's hard to get something if you ain't going to be given something.
Yeah. Oh, you can't. Yeah. Absolutely. It's funny. So she transitioned into spirit yesterday, and it was a beautiful passing. I was just telling Pat during the break that a butterfly flew onto her bed as they were moving her, and I believe it was her husband who's been waiting for her for many years, and so happy that she's there. But it's no coincidence that we're in a third quarter moon, so that's the time when we receive. Now that we acknowledge that we're receiving, we give back from a place of abundance. So when you give from a place of abundance, knowing that you can give because something will always come back to you as long as you're open to that receiving. You can't let your well run dry, but you know that it's just like every breath you take. For every inhalation, there's an exhalation, and when you can trust in that. Yeah, and so right now we're in the balsamic moon. That will be tomorrow, and that's when we reflect with thanks and rest and restore. So. Yeah,
I love it. Well, let's talk a little bit, because I was kind of talking before the break about the new moon, right? That fresh start, new beginnings. But yet, this whole reflection moon, I think we'll get to today too, is directly related to what I'm wearing today.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's something about intentions. Now, I'm wearing orange. Why? Because subliminally, I was watching, I think, Orange is the New Black. And actually, Jessica looked at me at a really big meeting this morning, and she just said, oh my God, all I can see is Orange is the New Black and what you're wearing. And I thought, this is what we're talking about with Autumn today. I work with women that have been incarcerated. So I have to keep up on Orange is the New Black, that series. And I've never worn this. I've never worn all orange, ever. This morning, I get up. There was something that entered my consciousness about this that I acted upon. And so today, we're talking about new beginnings. And what we're going to take in this has to do with how we set these monthly intentions, right? Now, I watch Orange is the New Black, so I can relate to the people that I work with on a volunteer basis. But that's one example of where we put our energy so we can be at a place in the world. If we want to manifest something, we got to really figure out what our energy is going to look like. But what role does the new moon play in that?
Yeah, so a saying that I really like is energy flows where our attention goes. So anytime we pay, like whatever, Abraham Hicks says this a lot, whatever you pay attention to grows. And the more you pay attention to it, the more it grows. Just like those seeds of corn I was talking about, the more you tend to them, the more they'll grow. That goes for the things we want in our life and the things we don't want in our life. So with new moons, when you want to make a fresh start and you want a new beginning, or if you're continuing on your journey, but you want to, come back into alignment. Maybe you've gotten out of disarray and you just want to come back to a centered place, or things are going really great and you want to keep them going. Because sometimes when manifesting, if you achieve, Benny's talking about his vacation, it's like, good, you manifested this one. I hope you're already planning your next one. Or while you're on vacation, you start planning your next one. Because sometimes we can manifest and then get caught in like a fertile void where you go, oh my gosh, I forgot to put something else into the vortex. And you just kind of get a little stuck. But so that with the new moons, consciously setting intentions means consciously planning and creating your future self an ideal life by getting clear on what you want to draw into your life. So that this is the key, that by virtue of appearing, so whatever it is that you're trying to manifest, by virtue of that appearing, it crowds out that which is no longer serving you. So it's not a matter of like getting rid of something so that something good can come in. It's inviting something new in so that when it comes, it's so easy to let go of the things that don't serve you. So Dr. Pat, maybe some of the women that you work with, they want to be reunited with their children. They want to be living in stable home lives. And by setting that intention that's what they want to draw in, it can crowd out a lot of those choices and decisions that don't serve that ultimate intention of being reunited with their family or living safely and in peace every day. So it's not a matter of pushing out to get something. It's a matter of inviting something new to take the place of the things that don't serve us.
I think all of us really have to go through that examination, Autumn. We really have to understand that the universe cannot stand a vacuum.
No.
It loves when we create a vacuum because we create the vacuum and it's like, oh, let me give it to you, right? However, if what we're holding in our intention is scarcity, oh, let me give you more. Let me give you some lack. Let me throw that lack at you. But you work with, you're working with people to really look at how do I create an energy for the law of attraction to not only get me what I absolutely desire, but to exceed that.
Yeah. So I'm sure everybody's always heard the ask, believe, receive. I like to say ask, believe, receive, give thanks, start again. And when you get into the mindset of paying it forward, so when we get so stuck on ourselves and our own lives, it can kind of be this vapid existence where we're just doing whatever feels good to us, manifesting whatever feels good to us. But when you can shift that focus to an external source and wanting to help, it makes you a better person by default because your intention isn't self-serving. And again, going back to the universe, love's a co-creator. It's not a matter of getting involved in somebody else's karma. It's a matter of this or something better manifests for the highest good of all.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about something interesting too, about the fact that many people talk about why the movie The Secret didn't work. And the reason they talk about that is because they forgot one key point, and that's our emotional state. It's one thing to say, wow, I really love blank, 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 and to believe on the inside, emotionally feel, I'm never going to get it.
Yeah. So, oh my gosh, I could do a whole show on upper limiting. Dr. Gay Hendricks has a great book called The Big Leap. And when I read that, I was like, oh my gosh, I've always upper limited in my life, where you have we come in based on our beliefs as children or our families of origin on what level of abundance we can hold. And sometimes what we receive, it's like people who always, they have no problem getting money, but keeping that money, it is very hard for them. It's like people who go bankrupt over and over. They build it up and then they go bankrupt. They build it up, they go bankrupt. It's because they have a havingness problem and they're not sure how to hold that energy. And again, it goes back to this shifting to an external source where when, there's this saying, if it comes to you, that just because it comes to you doesn't necessarily mean that it is for you.
Right.
And if you can get into this, I am abundance, and I can share that abundance, it's a lot easier to raise your set point because it's not just for you. You're doing it for others. And money is just an energy. Like if we're talking about money or material things, like those are all just money, or those are all just energy. You can't take it with you to the other side, the physical aspect of it. You take the energy of it with you.
Well, isn't this true though? You take the energy of it with you. The thing too, though, there's an energy of money that you talk about, we're going to talk about when we come back from break, is there's this energy of not acknowledging that money is a good thing.
Yeah.
See, if we're thinking about money, like that, then it's like, oh, no. Money was given to us by the laws of the universe. Whatever you believe in, life source, energy, God, money is like this thing, right?
Yeah.
And the question is, well, it's simply an exchange.
Yeah. It's just an energetic exchange.
What happens when you're say the M word and you break out in a hot flash? We're going to talk about that when we come back, because we're going to talk about my buddy, the full moon. Yeah, the full moon. I think we got to be bringing our manifestation werewolf to the game. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll talk about the full moon. What does this phase mean? And what does illumination have to do with that big, bright, happy man in the moon? Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back. Or woman in the moon. It depends on your perspective.
Join Jennifer Noel Taylor on the hit show Quantum Touch Radio, supercharging your life on TransformationTalkRadio.com. You'll take a quantum journey as we reveal powerful yet simple steps to create more abundance, better health, emotional and mental vibrancy, and happier relationships using universal quantum touch principles. For more information, visit JenniferNoelTaylor.com.
Demystifying the journey on From Here to There Radio with your host, Diane Garris. Tune in every third Wednesday, 4 p.m. Pacific Time on TransformationTalkRadio.com. as Diane helps you get from where you are now to the life you envision. Get ready to get unstuck and move forward. Every show features a new special segment, New Age Notes, demystifying hot metaphysical topics of the day. For more information or to work with Diane, visit DianeGarris.com.
Are you looking for the perfect setting for your next workshop or retreat? At Spirit Fire Meditative Retreat Center, cultivating consciousness is what we do best. Our guests count on us to create an atmosphere that supports serenity and well-being. We lead from the heart and create space for the mind. Freshly prepared meals designed with local and organic ingredients, 95 acres of beautiful woods and pastures, and a facility built with green in mind. This is what you'll find at Spirit Fire. For more information, visit spiritfireretreatcenter.com.
Tune in to the Jen Royster Show, intuitive guidance to inspire your life, each Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific and 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This amazing show is an inspirational hour that will take you on an epic metaphysical journey to discover the spiritual approach to life's greatest challenges. Dr. Jen is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. Call in for intuitive readings and visit JenRoyster.com for more information.
Could you swim with sharks? Is fear holding you back from living your life? The time is now to jump in and be courageous. Shelly Ryan has created a retreat to help you move past your fears with confidence. Join her June 30th through July 7th in Mexico. Have some fun, relax. Plus, you'll have the opportunity to be courageous with a whale and shark adventure. For more information, visit yournextchaptercoaching.com.
High frequency healing for an amazing life with Source Light Radio. Join host Laura Barton each month on Transformation Talk Radio as she explores Source Light integration, a unique spectrum of energy, light, and frequency. Experience instantaneous healing and amazing shifts in consciousness with Source Light Integrations Radio. For more information on Laura and her work, visit sourcelightintegrations.com.
Oh boy, that's what we're talking about. Hey, anybody out there have a manifestation question you want to put to Autumn? Well, give us a shout. Autumn, two things again. Website, tell us about the gift that you prepared for today for everybody, and also your radio show.
Yeah. So website is goldenotter.us, golden like the precious metal and otter like the precious animal.us. And then the gift today is in honor of my late grandmother-in-law, Peg Burns, free membership for the rest of the year. So that's annual membership is about $200. So it's a pretty big gift for anybody who signs up. So just go to the website. I will be avoiding transactions. I'll clear those for everybody, and then you'll have access to new moon rituals and full moon rituals as they're posted bi-monthly, and you also get access to all previous month rituals. So if you want to go back and maybe see what the ritual was for, let's say, March, and I'll just say March because the full moon in Pisces is coming up and the new moon was in March. So every 6 months there will be a new moon, and then 6 months later there will be the full moon that corresponds with it. So that's a good way to track your manifestation on a short term. But anyways, you'll have all access to that, ritual guides, tribe guidelines, the whole shebang. It's all going to be free for the rest of 2018.
I love it. Thank you for that. All right. So let's talk about the full moon. Yeah. I have been somebody that was attracted to a full moon as a young girl. When my escape growing up in New York, my escape was to a fire escape, literally. And I would sit out there, and especially in the summer, I love sleeping out on the fire escape.
Oh, cool.
And okay, nobody wanted me to sleep on the fire escape.
Yeah, I'm sure.
They
sounds romantic to me.
They were like, "Oh my God, don't let this kid sleep out there," because I'm talking about high up on a building, and but I loved it, and I would just look so forward to the full moon. And, like in Manhattan, right? When you're looking at that, you're looking at the east side, right? You're looking at the East Side River, and the moon is coming, the sun comes up in the east, and people don't realize that the moon comes up too. So as a kid, I loved it, and I especially loved the full moon. Flip side of the story, I loved sleeping out there. That was my way of avoiding the cockroaches, but that was the smart part of that. But the full moon, many people have mixed feelings about it. From your perspective, what does the full moon do? How does it help us with manifestation? And then what kind of insight might we get from it?
Yeah, we were just talking about this during the break, that the moon gets a bad rap, and it gets this like, the moon made me do. It's like, no, the moon didn't make you do anything. Maybe it illuminated the path forward so that what transpired. But yeah, the moon doesn't do anything. It's our intentions, and it's just there as a guiding force. So in the 2 weeks in between the new moon and the full moon, the full moon is when you'll have set your intentions. So you'll have consciously collaborated in those 2 weeks with individuals, situations, and opportunities that allow you to take effective actions to draw your intentions into physical form during the full moon. So it's this illumination, like literal illumination of sky. If you go out and it's a beautiful big full moon, in some places it's almost as light as as if all the street lights were on. And so there's a quote that I like by Demetra George, and it says, "The fruit embodies the full actualization of the essence of the seed." So when you planted that intention 2 weeks prior, you had an idea, and 2 weeks, and in the intervening 2 weeks, you interact with people, places, and things to bring that to fruition. And then the full moon is when you really get to enjoy whatever it is that you're creating. It's also a chance to course correct. So if what you were trying to bring into fruition wasn't for the greatest good of all concerned, maybe now is a time to course correct and prune away what doesn't serve you, and or just enjoy and be thankful and give thanks.
Yeah. Well, what I love about the month we're living in now, like people can get on this. The new moon starts, I think, on 11th. And so the full moon is the 26th. So if you're listening to this show now, then how do I know this? Well, I subscribe to this moon giant thing. So if you're looking at this now and you're not looking at, for example, the astrological meaning of it, because that's something that you do too. But if you just want to know, listen, where am I now? They're talking about new moon, full moon. Good news is coming up on that new moon. And they can start the cycle of things. But the full moon and Autumn, let's go ahead and skip this last break because I want to make sure we get all of this in. Okay. There can be momentous manifestations all along the way. So misconception number one is, oh, I'm never going to manifest anything because I'm not in the right cycle of the moon. What do you say to that? What do you say to that, Ms. Autumn?
No, not at all. Because every other moon phase is a yin and a yang, a yin and a yang. And I mean, you can manifest throughout because by the time you get to the full moon, it might just be the big crescendo. I mean, I manifest every single second of every single day. It just depends what I'm trying to, what I want to bring in. Again, it's like you don't want to give the moon too much power. It's just there as a guide. Really what you're trying to tune into is your own inner guidance system. The moon just provides an external source of reference so that if you feel like you're maybe getting off track or just need something to ground you back into the manifestation mindset, it's there. But it's not, it's just kind of like, it's like my issue with mediumship when we give too much of our power away. It's like, no, you were sent here to this earth to create amazing things. Without your existence on this earth, life would not be the same. Like that's my big thing. Yeah. You can manifest anytime, anywhere.
Well, and this is something we should talk about because now is the time to start to prep. This idea of reaping what you have sown means that here we're going through this month, and we have to think about what do I want to start looking at in my life, right? And, we're very good at knowing what's not working for us, because we can pinpoint an axis of discomfort in a nanosecond. We know what we don't like. We know what's not working. We know that, this notion of blah, 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 blah is making me sad, or we know that. The question is, Autumn, how do we get from that misalignment, so to speak, to aligning where we are today with where we want to go? That's the big question.
So part of what we do in my Lunar Manifestations membership is setting intentions, like actually writing them down each month and doing a ritual. But it can be as simple as right now, the new moon is coming on Saturday, August 11th, and you can get out a piece of paper and just write a list of the top 10 things that feel up for you right now. So you want to listen to your heart and plant your seeds of intention by how they feel, not by how it seems or what would be best for others, how they feel for you. So it has to resonate deeply in your heart, because your heart is actually where this manifesting comes from. Because when you're in alignment or resonance, that's when your power is the most vital. So list 10 items, tops, in a journal. And you want to use language such as I am or I will, so that you're consciously creating your future self, not I want or I need. Those are lower vibrations. So I am or I will, and 10 statements. And then work with those intentions throughout the month, checking in, and use affirmative statements that allow the universe to substitute manifestations as needed that align with the best possible outcome for all involved. That keeps your karma clear and your vibration high throughout the moon phase. So you just say, this or something better manifests for all involved. This or something better manifests for all involved. And then that's the law of substitution. You guys can look that up another time. But that's key with working with the law of attraction, because you may be have an intention set that you really want to manifest, but the universe is going, you know what? I've got something even better for you. And it substitutes that.
Yeah. And you know why I like it? Because I think about some of the things in my life. I was not asking for a radio show and a network. I didn't wake up doing that. I had a card, my crust busting card. And what I wrote on the card was that I wanted to reach 1 million people and help them live life full out. And I dialed the wrong phone number. And I pulled out a credit card. I dialed the right phone number to an internet-only station in 2003, and I pulled out a credit card. I spent $10,000 on 1 hour of internet radio in 2003, 13 weeks. Why? Everybody looked at me and said, you have lost your mind, child. You have well, okay, but here's the thing I want to ask you about this. How do we get rid of the stuff that is holding us back? Now, clearly for me, I think that I had done quite a bit of work that prepared me for that moment. And right before that, I must say, I was pretty much about as depressed as I could have possibly been in my life, right? 8 years on a degree that I wasn't going to use for the purpose that I went to school to get it for. Wasn't going to be a big corporate consultant making a lot of money. Couldn't do it. But tell us about this. How do we use the visioning tools? How do we use some of the tools of manifestation now to help us regardless of what we might be feeling or where we are?
Well, that, like the fact that you had the courage to take you took a leap, and the net obviously appeared. And, by you staying in alignment with what felt right in your heart, you're able to serve so many more. And that's part of the manifestation game that we were talking about, when you can get out of this idea of service to self and shift into service to others. That's when you're really that's when you become a big player. And you can see it in life when people are generous and not self-focused, they go so much farther. And nobody has a negative word to say about them, because it's not about them, it's about service. But so when you are manifesting under the full moon, the illumination of the full moon allows the law of substitution to work. So it's when you remain open because you may be presented with opportunities that are different from what you previously asked or planned for, but that are still in alignment with your heart's deepest desires, like, you're talking about starting the network. Another thing that is great is cathartic release. So anything that does not align with your ideal highest self, in the moment of the full moon, that's a great time to write it down and then burn that which no longer serves you. So if you can't burn it outside, do it in the sink, use a well-ventilated area. You can also shred it, and that works just as well. And then transmutation is is Mother Earth's way of taking any energy that doesn't feed you, and she will take it into her soil and return it as, the air we breathe, the sunlight we enjoy on our skin, and the earth will do the work for us. But the way that you do that is you allow yourself to fully feel everything coming up for you and acknowledge it. Don't push it down. If you've got tears, let them come. If you need a belly laugh, let that come. If you need to feel connected to another person, reach out for that. Don't stay closed up if that is what's calling for you. And then take a shower, wash away any unwanted energy in an ocean, lake, river, rain, traditional shower, and know that Mother Earth will take from you all that you don't want. So that's
I love it. I mean, one of the things I know you help people with and you work with people with is you help people really get clear about what alignment really takes, what one has to do to really experience that alignment. And one of the things I know you talk about, and this is really super important, it's this idea of forgiving or forgiveness. And, it's also to be in charge of looking at what are my frustration moments. I can't tell you how many times people say, I'm really frustrated right now. And they don't think anything of it. They don't think that that is a thing. They don't think that frustration fits in other categories like fear, right? But when we look at it and we look at the idea of frustration and resentment together, because if you have to forgive, you got like some kind of resentment. How do we explain that we have to really look at these energies and we have to do something about them?
Yeah. So resentment, frustration, those can be blocks that, either you're putting up or keeping up, maybe at an unconscious level. So the full moon is a great time to really journal on that and reflect. So some questions that you can ask, like, is there anything holding you back from your new moon intention? If so, name it, call it out, put a name to it, write it down. And then ask yourself further, are you afraid of someone or something? Note it. Are you angry at yourself or another? If so, why? Journal on that at length. Sometimes just writing it out and actually getting it out of your mind and onto a piece of paper can help separate you from the emotions of it and really make it easier to release. Because once you've written it down, you go, well, that's really not as big as I thought. Or now that it's in, black and white, I can look at it more analytically and kind of release the emotions attached to it. Another question is, have you been betrayed by yourself or someone else? Have you done something that is out of alignment with your soul's purpose? This is not to condemn yourself. This is not to get down on yourself. It's merely to acknowledge it and say, okay, that's where I wandered out of alignment, or that's where I was betrayed, but I'm ready to release and let go of it. And again, journaling can really help you learn to forgive yourself and forgive another. It's a gift that only you can give, forgiveness.
Yeah. It doesn't mean also, let's just be super clear, right? It doesn't mean that we condone
not at all. Not at all.
We're not saying it. I honestly, I have a friend that she works with people over, she's made a business. I hate to say this, but she's made a business over election results. And she does nothing but work with people that are plugged in to specific political action and results. And she helps them come to peace. And what she says is the hardest things for people to recognize, and she's been doing this for 12 years now, So this is not a new thing. She realizes that there is a body of work around how we are attached to a result that many people feel they have no power in. And I think whether it's that or something else, it's embracing alignment as an inside job and also releasing as an inside job, and not about outside worldly things, right?
Yeah. The more centered and confident and in alignment with that you're living your soul's purpose, and that each day you're doing your own inner work, like you said, it's an inside job. The less the external factors of life can really mess you and throw you off, because you know that there's this idea of like individual consciousness and collective consciousness, and you know that you're just a small part of that. And when you're keeping your side of the road clean, you don't have to worry about everybody else's, because that's their job, that's their karma. You just have to keep yours clean. And that's what's so cool about manifestation, because you can actually see the fruits of your effort. You don't have to wait for an outside force to give you something. You can draw it in all on your own.
I wanted to ask you this. I know we have a little bit left. Again, in your group, your manifestation group, I want to stop for a minute and talk a little bit about this, because I can't think of a single time I've been able to take this journey successfully and do it all by myself. I'm sorry, I have not. I've tried like hell, but I have not been able to do it. And I want to talk for a minute about the power of this group that you've put together for manifesting.
Yeah, so I asked the question, how do tribes hold space for creation, and why, when working with the law of attraction, is it good to find a supportive group of people, or tribe, if you will, to share your longings with? So these are supportive people who are going to lift you up, not tear you down, which if you go to the website and you become part of the members, the manifestation group, we have a very strict tribe guideline. There's, it's not a social media space where you can say whatever comes out of your mouth. This is an uplifting space. This is a positive space, and it's a loving space. Because we're, it's easy to circle down, but we want to spiral up. And when manifesting, it's beneficial to share your longings with a supportive tribe who can assist in maintaining accountability and also hold the creative space for your desires to manifest. So the reason for that is oftentimes tribe members or people in a group, a manifestation group, are able to embrace the image of new creations even when the individual cannot. So if I give you my desires, Pat, and I say, this is what I want to manifest. I want Golden Otter, radio to be the #1 program on Transformation Talk Radio. And I'm sharing that longing with you. You're going, yeah, I want that for you. I want you to be a #1, radio program, or whatever it may be. I don't want to usurp anybody who's there, because whatever's the best for the highest good, for the good of all. But essentially you express your desires to another, and then they hold you accountable for that, because sometimes it's easy to question yourself, like, oh, why am I doing this? Oh, this is so silly. But giving that energy to another to hold for you helps keep you accountable, so that you're doing the inner work, because you're not proving anything to anybody. You're just saying, that's the highest version of myself, and I want to reach that, and you are here to help lift me up, and we help lift each other up in the tribe.
What I love about this is for people, I know we're kind of almost out of time. I never asked to be a #1 network, but I did. I didn't say it in those words, but I did ask for it. And I asked for it in what I was asking for listenership. I just didn't know it. And as a result of that, when I asked for it, it manifests. It's also for all of you.
Yeah.
So you are already on a #1 network. You're also on this show on a top #1 time spot, but you're also in a #1 arena right now. So you have manifested this already in this conversation.
Oh.
That doesn't mean we can't share it.
Yeah.
And so we share it. The idea of wanting to reach 1 million people sounded so bizarre to anybody listening. They thought I had lost my mind. People would say to me, who do you think you are? You are Oprah? And then the listeners started to call me Oprah of Talk Radio. None of that is really what I wanted. I wanted to help people, and that's what you want. And by having a top-rated show, that's how you get to do more and more and more and more of it, because you and I are the same. We are here with the purpose to help people rise up, to help people lift up, to help people have everything you have and more. And that is what the universe has put us here to do. Right. Thank you so much. One last question. What's your personal message? What do you want to leave us with? And thank you for what you're doing. And by the way, you have a fabulous show.
Thank you so much. We are having so much fun.
On radio before. You're like amazing.
Oh, thanks. I'm having so much fun. And thank you for everybody who's listening and calling in. I respond to all emails and any messages. So reach out to me. You will get a response. And my message is, if no one's laughing at your dreams, then they're not big enough. So dream big.
Yes, they're hysterical with me. I'm telling you, they think that all of us have lost our mind. Yes, I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Pat. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Benny. And thanks to all of you for joining us in all of the phases of the moon. And remember that we're here because you're here. You are our number one priority. You're the best listeners on the planet. And I am so grateful for that.
The preceding audio was via a Skype call.
The views expressed on this program are those of the host, guest,